Disturbing ancient discoveries that shouldn't exist. From ancient computers to unbreakable concrete, these disturbing discoveries challenge everything we know about history and technology. Prepare to be amazed. Let's get right into it. Number 7. The Antikythera mechanism. Imagine you're a diver in 1901 exploring a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera. Among the wreckage, you find what looks like a broken ancient clock. But here's the twist. This is no ordinary object. This is the Antikythera mechanism, an analog computer dating back to 100 BC. Yes, you heard that right. Ancient tech that modern scientists only began to truly understand centuries later. What makes the Antikythera mechanism so mind-blowing is that we didn't think ancient civilizations could have this level of technology. The device was used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses with extraordinary accuracy, something we thought was only possible in much later times. The gears inside are so intricate and advanced that they seem almost like steampunk technology, except it was designed by people who believed the Earth was flat and gods lived on Mount Olympus. The most disturbing thing? We still don't fully understand how the ancient Greeks were able to create such a complex and precise machine. It shouldn't exist, but it does, and it completely rewrites what we thought we knew about ancient technology. So next time someone tells you that ancient civilizations were primitive, just pull up a picture of the Antikythera mechanism and watch them question everything they thought was true about history. Number 6. The Baghdad battery. Okay, let's go back in time to about 250 BC and picture this. You're an ancient civilization trying to figure out the basics of electricity. You're not just stumbling around in the dark, you've discovered what looks like a battery. Wait, what? Yes, you read that correctly. The Baghdad battery, found near Baghdad, Iraq, is a clay jar containing a copper cylinder and iron rod inside it. When put together, it actually produces a small electric current. This isn't just a weird relic, it's basically an ancient battery. Here's where it gets freaky. There's no real explanation for how they figured out electricity, and there's no historical record of anyone using this battery for anything. Some researchers believe it was used for electroplating, a process where metal is coated with another metal using electricity. But why did they need electricity in 250 BC? Why would they create something that's essentially a primitive power supply with no evidence of it being used? The question remains a mystery. Did the ancients have access to lost knowledge, or was this just some kind of ancient accident? The fact that this artifact exists and we still don't understand it is the ultimate head-scratcher. It shouldn't exist, yet here it is, proving that our understanding of history might be seriously flawed. Number 5. The Nazca lines. Now, let's move on to something that'll make you look at ancient civilizations in a completely different light. The Nazca lines in Peru are massive, intricate drawings etched into the desert floor, stretching over 1,200 feet long, depicting animals, plants, and even humanoid figures. Here's the kicker. You can only fully appreciate them from the sky. So, how did the Nazca people, who lived around 2,000 years ago, create these vast geoglyphs without the benefit of airplanes or drones? And what's even more mind-boggling is that these lines remain incredibly well-preserved despite centuries of exposure to harsh desert conditions. These lines should be impossible to create without aerial viewing, but here they are, stretching across the landscape with precision that would have been impossible for someone on the ground to see. What's even more disturbing is the purpose of the lines. Some believe they had religious or astronomical significance, but nobody really knows for sure. Were they trying to communicate with extraterrestrials? Did they have some kind of secret knowledge about flight? The theory that they might have been aware of something we don't know about flying or mapping is both mind-boggling and unsettling. This massive, unexplainable feat of design shouldn't exist, but yet it does, leaving us to puzzle over just how advanced these people were, or possibly still are, in some sense. Number 4. The Piri Reis map. Let's talk about maps, and not just any map. Let's dive into the Piri Reis map, created in 1513 by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis. This map shows incredible detail of the coastlines of the Americas, but here's the twist. It also includes a depiction of Antarctica, which was supposedly undiscovered at the time. That's right, Antarctica, shown with no ice, which is impossible considering the continent's been covered in ice for millions of years. So how did Piri Reis know what Antarctica looked like without ice when the landmass had been buried under a thick sheet of ice for millions of years? Some theories suggest that the map was based on earlier, much older maps lost to history, possibly from lost civilizations or Atlantis, if you want to get all mystical about it. Others argue that it could be evidence of ancient advanced knowledge far beyond what was thought possible for the time. The problem? There's no concrete explanation of how Piri Reis created such an accurate map of Antarctica. This map should be impossible, but here it is, raising more questions than answers about the history of human exploration. Number 3. The Egyptian battery in the Temple of Dendera. Alright, time for a trip to ancient Egypt, where something called the Dendera light or Dendera battery has historians scratching their heads. Inside the Temple of Dendera, you'll find carvings that depict an object that suspiciously resembles a light bulb, yes, a light bulb, in a temple built thousands of years before electricity was even a concept. Let that sink in. Here's the really bizarre part. Some experts believe these carvings show that the ancient Egyptians might have had knowledge of electricity, or at least some kind of electrical device. Not only do the carvings look like light bulbs, but in the same temple, there's another depiction that resembles a battery, one that could theoretically generate electricity. In fact, some theories suggest these ancient devices were capable of powering primitive lamps, which is, frankly, mind-blowing. We're talking about a civilization that was thought to rely on fire for light, yet they might have known about electricity far before modern times. The mystery here is that we don't have any historical records showing how they used these devices. Some argue it was purely symbolic, but the idea that ancient Egyptians might have had access to electricity throws a wrench into everything we thought we knew about their technological abilities. It shouldn't exist, but here we are, standing in front of what might be the world's oldest electrical device. Number 2. The Voynich Manuscript. Next, let's talk about a book that has baffled scholars, cryptographers, and conspiracy theorists for over 600 years. The Voynich Manuscript. Discovered in 1912, this book is filled with unreadable symbols, mysterious drawings, and bizarre plant illustrations. The catch? No one can read it, not even with the help of advanced technology or centuries of study. The language used in the manuscript doesn't match any known human language, which raises more questions than answers. What's so disturbing about the Voynich manuscript is that it shouldn't exist in its current form. It's an encrypted book with complex diagrams that seem to have no correlation to anything we know about ancient or medieval cultures. Some researchers think it could be a lost alchemical manual. Others speculate it could be alien communication, or perhaps the works of an ancient civilization we've forgotten. Despite countless attempts to decode the manuscript, no one has succeeded. The manuscript seems like an ancient puzzle that shouldn't even exist, but it's here, taunting us with its unsolvable mysteries. The real mystery is, why was it made? Who wrote it? And why hasn't anyone cracked the code yet? The manuscript defies logic and understanding, and it's become one of the greatest unsolved enigmas of history. Number 1. The ancient unbreakable Roman concrete. Let's wrap up with something that sounds too good to be true, but trust me, it is. The ancient Romans created concrete that has outlasted modern concrete by thousands of years. Yes, you read that right. Roman concrete is stronger, more durable, and still standing today. The Romans mixed volcanic ash, lime, and seawater to create a material that can survive for millennia, even in harsh conditions like seawater. You can find their concrete in structures like the Pantheon and ancient harbors, all of which are still in use today. Here's the kicker. Modern concrete starts to crack and degrade after only 50 to 100 years, but Roman concrete has withstood over 2,000 years of wear and tear. Why? Well, recent research shows that volcanic ash in the Roman mix helped form crystalline structures over time, which actually made the concrete stronger the longer it aged. Modern concrete, however, uses a much more rigid and brittle chemical composition that doesn't age well. So, the big question is, how did the Romans know how to make such a durable material? And why did we forget how to make it? The Romans shouldn't have been able to create something so resilient, yet they did. The fact that we still can't replicate it today means we've lost a piece of ancient knowledge that could revolutionize modern construction. Imagine building cities that would last for thousands of years. thanks to ancient tech. Yet, here we are, trying to figure out how the Romans did it while our own concrete crumbles after a few decades. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.